Good morning, students. So today we'll be discussing about different types of elastic modulus. Right? From the in the last class we have already discussed about the elastic modulus in the Hooke's law. Right? So today we'll be explaining more about it. So today's topic is elastic moduli. Right? Modulus का plural है moduli. So elastic modulus है क्या actually? You have already studied that from the Hooke's law we say that the ratio of stress and strain is called as the elastic modulus, right? Ratio of stress and strain को हम क्या बोलते हैं? Elastic modulus. So first type of and this elastic modulus is found to be the characteristic of a material, right? ये जो elastic modulus है, this is found to be a characteristic of a material. Characteristic of the material. मतलब क्या है? From the value of this elastic modulus, we can know that which material is it, right? If you have given a value of elastic modulus, then you can say the name of that material from that, because every material has a definite elastic modulus, right? So first of all, today we will be discussing about first elastic modulus, that is called Young's modulus, right? This is discovered by a scientist whose name is Thomas Young, right? So according to his name, this is called as Young's modulus of elasticity. So what is actually Young's modulus of elasticity? From experimental observations show that for a given material, the magnitude of the strain produced is same whether stress is tensile or compressive, right? Whether stress is tensile or compressive. In the previous video I have already discussed what is the tensile stress and what is the compressive stress, right? If you have not watched those videos, then I suggest you must go back and click on that video and you must watch it, right? So whether the stress is tensile or compressive, the magnitude of strain produced is same, right? For the tensile stress or the compressive stress, magnitude of the strain produced is same, right? So Young stated that the modulus of Young modulus of elasticity is the ratio of tensile stress, which is denoted as sigma, and tensile strain, right, which is denoted as epsilon. So यंग ने बताया कि ये जो हमारा यंग्स मॉडुलस है, दैट इज इक्वल टू द टेंसाइल स्ट्रेस बाय टेंसाइल स्ट्रेन और कंप्रेसिव स्ट्रेस by compressive strain, because ये जो tensile stress and compressive stress are same for the same amount of strain produced in a material, right? So the ratio of the tensile stress to the longitudinal strain or the tensile strain is defined as Young's modulus and is denoted by symbol Y, right? We denote this Young's modulus as the Y, right? So here we can write that tensile stress का फॉर्मूला क्या है? F by A, force by area. Tensile strain का फॉर्मूला है change in length by original length, right? So Young's modulus becomes like this, and the final expression is stress by strain, right? Tensile stress by tensile strain. So since strain is dimensionless quantity. Here the strain is dimensionless quantity. So the unit of y or the Young's modulus will be equal to the unit of stress. Force by area is the stress. So we can say that unit of Young's modulus is equal to the unit of stress, and unit of stress is Newton per meter square, or we can say that Pascal, right? So a material with large, so यहाँ से हमें पता क्या चलता है, a material with large value of y is relatively unstretchable. That is, a large stress is required for a given strain, right? For a given strain, we require a large stress, right? Or we can say that if a body has if a material has large value of Young's modulus, then we can say that that is relatively unstretchable, right? Let us compare the Young's modulus of steel and rubber. Most of all get confused with that rubber is more elastic than the steel, because whenever we stretch a rubber, then it regains its original shape very soon. But here you have to change your misconception that the steel is more elastic than rubber, because steel has more value of Young's modulus of elasticity, right? The value of y is more for steel, and value of y for rubber is very less. If we find the value, then that is 2 into 10 to the power 11 Pascal for steel. For rubber, this is 5 into 10 to the power 8 Pascal, right? Due to this more value of Young's modulus of elasticity, the steel becomes relatively more unstretchable, right? रबर को हम ज़्यादा स्ट्रेच कर सकते हैं बिकॉज द वाई वैल्यू इज वेरी लेस, ठीक है, बट स्टील को इतना जल्दी हम स्ट्रेच नहीं कर सकते, ठीक है. सो यू शुड नॉट measure the elasticity by its stretchability, that if a body is stretching more then regains its original shape soon, then you cannot say that that is more elastic than the body which is not stretching more, ठीक है. So elasticity is defined as the value of Young's modulus. If the Young's modulus is more for a material, then you can say that the elasticity of that material is more. And if we say the y value is less, then we can say that the elasticity of that material is also less, right? The ये जो इलास्टिक ये जो y का वैल्यू है, इससे हमें पता क्या चलता है कि that means force required to produce the same strain in steel as that of rubber is very high. मतलब if we want to increase the elongation of the steel to 1 centimeter and we want to increase the elongation of the rubber into to more 1 centimeter, ठीक है. मतलब बोल सकते हैं कि 4 सेंटीमीटर का स्टील था, उसे हम 5 सेंटीमीटर करने की चाह रहे हैं, ठीक है. यहाँ पर 4 सेंटीमीटर का रबर था, देन 5 सेंटीमीटर हम इसका लेंथ बढ़ाना चाह रहे हैं. तो क्या करेंगे, यहाँ पर जितना फोर्स लगेगा दैट विल बी वेरी लार्ज देन दिस फोर्स विल बी F1 विल बी वेरी लार्ज देन F2, बिकॉज स्टील को 1 सेंटीमीटर आपको उसका एलंगेशन करने के लिए रबर के 1 सेंटीमीटर के तरह जितना फोर्स लग रहा था उससे कहीं ज़्यादा फोर्स अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा. दैट्स वाई स्टील इज मोर स्ट्रॉन्ग देन रबर. दैट्स वाई ऑल्सो वी से दैट वाई इज मोर देन वाई ऑफ स्टील इज मोर देन वाई ऑफ रबर, एंड वी कैन से दैट स्टील इज मोर इलास्टिक देन रबर, राइट. So due to the high value of Y for steel, which is much more than the others, therefore we use steel in heavy duty machines and structural designs, right? So now we will be discussing about factors affecting elasticity, right? Factors affecting elasticity. So now we will see there are some factors are there which affect elasticity. So first factor is temperature, effect of temperature, right? So almost for all materials, the modulus of elasticity decreases with the rise in temperature, right? Modulus of elasticity, modulus of elasticity. If we are saying the solid object, then that is called Young's modulus of elasticity. So ये क्या बता रहा है कि जो modulus of elasticity which is represented by y, right, decreases with the rise in temperature, decreases with the rise in temperature. Whenever there is increase in temperature, then modulus of elasticity decreases. ठीक है, for most of the materials, but there are also some materials in which temperature cannot cause any effect on the modulus of elasticity. There is an exception. For example, in bar, most of the material follow this rule, right? If temperature is increased of the material, then elasticity of the material decreases gradually, right? But in case of invar, a material is named as invar. In case of we change the temperature of invar, then modulus of elasticity doesn't change or remains unchanged, because the invar is made up of nickel and iron alloy, right? ये एक alloy material है. So जो invar उसका name है, this name comes from the word invariable, right? The invariable word suggests that due to its relative lack of expansion or contraction with temperature changes, right? Whatever the change in temperature is there, it is unable to expand or contract with the change in the temperature. That's why it is called invariable, and the name coined is invar, right? And it is made of nickel and iron alloy. So it doesn't, so temperature doesn't affect this material, but for all other materials, with the increase in temperature, we say modulus of elasticity decreases, right? And second factor which affecting elasticity is effect of impurities, right? The addition of impurities affect the elastic property depending on whether impurities are themselves more or less elastic, right? If we are adding impurities to any material, impurities means any foreign particle you are introducing with the material, then that is called impurity. So if we are adding any impurity in any material, then the elastic property depending on whether impurities are more elastic or less elastic, right? If the impurities are more elastic, then the material will be also more elastic. If impurities are less elastic, then material will be also less elastic. It will depend upon the elastic property of the impurity, right? So for example, when carbon is added to iron, right, and potassium is added to gold, right, their elasticity increases. In both the cases, elasticity increases because carbon is an impurity which has more elastic nature, right? Potassium also added to gold to increase its elastic limit, right, or modulus of elasticity or elastic property. So another factor, the third factor is effect of annealing. What do you mean by annealing? Annealing means heating and cooling gradually, right? Annealing means heating and cooling gradually. In this case, we heat the material to higher temperature, very high temperature, then we can cool it suddenly or we can cool it slowly. So annealing is that process in which heating and cooling gradually takes place. So in that process, large crystal grains are formed. In this process, large crystal grains are formed, and hence the elasticity of the material decreases, right? As the structure total material was big, but after annealing the large crystal grains are formed, and hence the elasticity of the material decreases, right? Elasticity of the material decreases. So fourth effect is effect of hammering. And rolling, right? By hammering and rolling, crystal grains break up into smaller units, and hence the elasticity of the material increases, right? So effect of hammering and rolling, elasticity increases, right? If we hammer or roll the material, what happens? The crystal grains break up into smaller units. Crystal grains break up into smaller units, and this becomes more elastic, right? But in case of hammering, what happens? The internal structure of crystal structure becomes like large crystal grains are formed, right? So annealing and heating decreases the elastic property of the body. So there are some notes you should be keeping focus on that. So let me explain you one by one. So from all these discussions, we know that the unit of Y is same as the unit of pressure. Unit of Young's modulus is equal to unit of stress, and as unit of stress is also equal to unit of pressure, so we can say that unit of Y is equal to unit of stress and unit of pressure, right? And the value of Y depends upon nature of the material. The value of Y only depends upon nature of the material, right? It doesn't depend upon anything. It only depends upon the nature of the material, right? And third point is, larger the value of Y, larger the value of Y, we can say that more elastic the material is, right? That's why we call steel is more elastic than rubber, right? And Young's modulus is defined for solids only. Y is for solids only, not applicable for liquid and gases, right? Liquid and gases के लिए ये applicable नहीं है. It is only applicable for solids only, right? And another point is Young's modulus for a perfectly rigid body is infinity, right? Infinite. Young's modulus for perfectly rigid body is infinite. ये कैसे होता है? जैसे कि हमने बताया, y इक्वल टू टेंसाइल स्ट्रेस बाई टेंसाइल स्ट्रेन. Stress becomes force by area and strain becomes change in length by original length. But in case of perfectly rigid body, I have already told you that there is no change in length. However, the force or stress may be there. There is no change in length. If change in length will be 0, then what happens? Force by area in the denominator, whole denominator will be 0. Anything by 0 will be equal to infinity. So what happens for perfectly rigid body? Young's modulus becomes infinity, right? And breaking stress is independent of length and cross sectional area. It is also dependent upon, only depends upon nature of the material, right? Breaking stress. What do you mean by breaking stress? If we provide a maximum force directly upon this body, right, or above its elastic limit, what happens? The body breaks, right? That is called breaking stress. The amount of pressure we are applying on this end so that the body breaks from here, right? That is called breaking stress. And that breaking stress independent of length of the material or the cross sectional area of the material. It only depends upon the nature of the material. Right? For stress, there is also a value of breaking stress. For steel, there is a definite breaking stress. For rubber, there is also a definite breaking stress. And for different types of material, for different natures of material, we can say breaking stress is different, right? And it doesn't depend upon length and cross sectional area, right? And another point is, for many material, Y has the same value for both tensile and compressive stress, but composite materials such as concrete are an exception, right? So most of the materials, we say that the value of both tensile and compressive stress is equal. That means for a material, अगर हम किसी भी मटेरियल को हम जितना फोर्स लगाकर उसे खींचते हैं उतना फोर्स और स्ट्रेस लगाकर उसे कंप्रेस भी करते हैं, देन दैट वैल्यू इज इक्वल, राइट? द वैल्यू ऑफ टेंसाइल एंड कंप्रेसिव स्ट्रेस is equal for most of the materials. But composite materials such as concrete, but in case of composite materials, concrete, right? इस केस में क्या देखा जाता है? The value of Y corresponding to the compressive stress for concrete is larger than the corresponding to the tensile stress, right? For case of concrete, we see that different value of Y for compressive stress and tensile stress, right? Different value of Y for compressive stress and tensile stress, because in other cases compressive stress is equal to tensile stress, but in case of concrete we see that compressive stress is more. मतलब ये कंप्रेस, इसको आप जितना भी ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस हैंडल कर सकता है कंप्रेशन तक, ठीक है, वी कैन कंप्रेस इट विथ ए मोर फोर्स, बट टेंसाइल स्ट्रेस इसका क्या है? कम है. इट इज वीकर इन टेंशन, राइट? अगर आप इसको, ये जो कंक्रीट को खींचोगे, देन इट विल ब्रेक विथ ए लेस स्ट्रेस, ठीक है. एंड अगर आप इजीली आप कंक्रीट को खींच कर उसे उसका वो टूट सकता है, लेकिन कंप्रेसिव स्ट्रेस मतलब अगर आप कंक्रीट को कंप्रेस करना चाहें, देन यू हैव टू अप्लाई मोर फोर्स, बट फॉर क्रिएट टेंशन यू कैन easily create tension in case of concrete, but other cases compressive stress always equal to the tensile stress. अगर एक बॉडी को, स्टील का एक मटेरियल है, यहाँ पर आपको कंप्रेस करने के लिए जितना फोर्स अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा, उसे स्ट्रेच करने के लिए भी उतना ही फोर्स अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा। बट इन केस ऑफ कंक्रीट उसे कंप्रेस करने के लिए आपको ज़्यादा फोर्स अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा, लेकिन उसे स्ट्रेच करने के लिए आपको कम फोर्स अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा, राइट। सो इन मेनी सिचुएशन some bodies can express both tensile and compressive stress at the same time, right? For example, if a material, the shape of the material is like this, this is called horizontal beam. This is called horizontal beam. Here you can say that in the upper portion, right? In the upper portion there is compression, right? But in the lower portion there is development of tension, right? So in many situations body can experience both tensile एंड कंप्रेसिव स्ट्रेस एट द सेम टाइम। ये नहीं है कि सिर्फ टेंसाइल स्ट्रेस ही आएगा, कंप्रेसिव स्ट्रेस नहीं आएगा, एक टाइम में दोनों भी आ सकते हैं, ठीक है। सो स्टूडेंट्स, हियर इज अ क्वेश्चन फॉर यू अबाउट द यंग्स मॉडुलस ऑफ इलास्टिसिटी, राइट। सो what is given here, there is a setup, this is a structural steel rod, right, and which has a radius of 10 millimeter, and it is clamped at one end, and a force of 100 kilonewton is provided from the another end, right. So what happens if we pull this steel rod towards this, right? What happens? Stretching will be occurs, so we have to find out the stress, elongation and stress on the rod, right? Strain on the rod. So let's see, the force is equal to 100 kilonewton, so we can write this as 100 into 10 to the power 3 newton. Radius of rod is 10 millimeter दिया हुआ है, so we can change it to meter, then this will be equal to 10 to the power minus 2 meter, 10 by 1000, right, 10 to the power minus 2 meter. Length of the rod is meter में, that is correct. Y of steel is given as the according to its unit Newton per meter square, we can say Pascal also. So first is calculate stress. So option A, stress कैसे calculate करते हैं, force by area, right. Here we know that force is 100 kilonewton, area क्या है, this is a circle, pi r square will be the area, right. R is provided here, so we have to put the information here. F equal to 100 into 10 to the power 3, this is pi का वैल्यू है 3.14 into 10 to the power minus 2 square, this will be meter square, right. So we'll get answer of 3.18 into 10 to the power 8 Newton per meter square. This is our stress. Now we will find the elongation. How to find the elongation? We know that Young's modulus of elasticity is given by stress by strain, right, tensile stress by tensile strain. So strain will be delta L by L, this is the elongation, delta L is the elongation, we have to calculate that. So let's take delta L by L to LHS and Y to the RHS, then F by A by Y, right. So we can write delta L will be equal to L is moving towards this, so we can say F by A को हम एक जगह रखते हैं, then this becomes L by Y, right. F by A we have already calculated here, value of F by A is 3.18 into 10 to the power 8 Newton per meter square. L, length of the rod is given here 1 meter, length of the rod we are putting here 1 meter, and by Y, because F by A is this much, so only remaining is Y. Y का वैल्यू दिया हुआ है 2 into 10 to the power 11 Newton per meter square, so we can find 1.59 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter, or we can say that 1.59 millimeter also, right. Now we have to find out the strain. So strain means हियर वी आर फाइंडिंग आउट स्ट्रेन। स्ट्रेन का फॉर्मूला क्या है, डेल्टा एल बाई एल। यहाँ पर आपको डेल्टा एल मिल गया है 1.59 इंटू 10⁻³ सो जस्ट पुट दिस वैल्यू 1.59 sorry 1.59 into 10⁻³ meter. L is 1 meter. Initial length is 1 meter is provided here, length of the rod. So here you can see the value will be 1.59 into 10⁻³ only the number, because strain is the dimensionless quantity, right? So all of the results have been derived. Okay, so now we will move forward to elongation of heavy wire. Due to its own weight. Elongation of heavy wire due to its own weight. Let's draw a diagram first. First we have to draw the ceiling, right? This is a heavy wire which is suspended from this ceiling, right? This is the cross sectional area, this is the length, right? Elongation of heavy wire due to its own weight, right? यहाँ पर कोई लोड हमने नहीं लिया है, ठीक है, कोई भी फोर्स हम लोड या फोर्स उसके ऊपर नहीं डाल रहे हैं. ड्यू टू इट्स ओन weight how it will be elongated, so we have to find out, right? Let L equal to length of the wire, right? L is the length of the wire. M equal to mass of the rope, as the rope is heavy so we cannot ignore the mass, so we are taking mass of the rope will be M. A equal to cross sectional area of the rope, right? And delta L is the increase in length. Elongation means increase in length due to its own weight, राइट? अब यहाँ पर देखो बच्चों, अगर वेट जब हम बात करते हैं, वेट ऑलवेज weight of the rope acts at the center of the gravity always, right? Weight is always acting upon the center of gravity, so इस लेंथ का center of gravity कहाँ होगा? at the L/2, right? बीच में होगा, at the middle. We can say that this cross sectional area is at the distance of L/2 from the ceiling, right? So from this point the length will be L/2. From this we can say that the mg is producing, so the weight of the rope acts at the center of the gravity. Therefore for calculating elongation we can say that the original length will be taken as L/2, because the force applied is here, from here, right? So original length will be L/2. So original length will be L/2. यहाँ पर जो L था उसका हम यंग्स मॉडुलस में इनिशियल लेंथ किसको शो करेंगे? L/2 शो करेंगे. So from Young's modulus we can say that stress by strain, right? In place of L we can write here force by area by delta L into L/2. L की जगह L/2 हो गया हमारा, because the weight is producing from L/2, right? So now force कितना है आपका? mg, right? We can write mg in place of force. Now this is the area, right? And this is delta L by L/2. So by simplifying this we can write mgl. L is going upwards and Al coming downwards, and 2 is also coming upward, so 2a into delta L, right? This implies that delta L will be equal to mgl by 2ay, राइट। यहाँ पर आपको आप मार्क कर सकते हो कि दिस इज m मास, ठीक है। मास को हम लिख सकते हैं डेंसिटी इक्वल टू मास बाई वॉल्यूम, देन वी कैन राइट m इक्वल टू वॉल्यूम इंटू डेंसिटी। वॉल्यूम को हम अगेन कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं क्या, लेंथ इंटू एरिया इंटू डेंसिटी। वॉल्यूम इज इक्वल टू लेंथ इंटू एरिया, राइट। So we can write here m equal to length into area into density by into L, right, into 2ay। here L square, L into L square, a cancel हो गया, तो हमें क्या मिल रहा है, रो, सर यहाँ पर एक g था, हमने g को मिस कर लिया, ठीक है। रो g L square by 2y, ठीक है। So delta L becomes rho g L square by 2y. For elongation of heavy wire, we have found the amount, right? Now we'll हाँ, यहाँ पर आपको एक चीज़ याद करनी है कि डेल्टा इज द सॉरी सिग्मा रो इज द डेंसिटी ऑफ द मटेरियल ऑफ द रोप, right? Rho is the density of the material of the rope. Now we will go to the thermal stress and strain. When a rod of material of coefficient of linear expansion alpha, right? Alpha is the coefficient of linear expansion, right? If we are considering a rod whose coefficient of linear expansion is alpha and which is heated or cooled through a change of temperature delta theta, right? Delta theta is the change of temperature, and length is L, which is increased by length of the material is L. If L length of material having coefficient of linear expansion alpha being exposed to a change in temperature delta theta, then the change in length becomes delta L equal to L alpha delta theta, right? So thermal strain we can write this strain is produced due to the change in the temperature, that's why we call it thermal strain, right? So thermal strain will be delta L by L. delta L का वैल्यू आपको मालूम है, L alpha delta theta by L, right? L cancel हो गया, then thermal strain produced is alpha delta theta. So what is the thermal stress? Thermal stress equal to force by area, which will be equal to y into delta L by L, because y equal to force by area by delta L by L. If force by area we have to calculate, then delta L by L will be multiplied with y. So we already know delta L by L is alpha delta theta, so alpha delta theta. So this is the expression for thermal stress and this is the expression for thermal strain, right? Where y is the Young's modulus of material of the rod. So now we will discuss about the elastic potential energy, right? So here is the elastic potential energy. This is the deleted portion for this year according to the new CBSE guideline. So we are not discussing much about it, but I want you to remember the formula at least, that potential energy per unit volume equal to half into stress into strain, right? Potential energy per unit volume means potential energy by volume. So we can write like this: potential energy delta U by volume as V, or right, volume. will equal to 1 by 2 into stress into strain. So if we calculate only elastic potential energy, not per unit volume, only elastic potential energy, then this volume term will be multiplied here, half into stress into strain into volume. This is the expression for potential energy per unit volume, and this is the expression for elastic potential energy only. Right, now we will discuss about the force constant of a wire. Right, force constant of a wire. Right, when a wire of length L and cross sectional area length L and cross sectional area A, when wire of length L and cross sectional area A is stretched by a length x, the stretching force is given by F equal to Ay by L into x. Right, if the length of the wire is L, cross sectional area of the wire is A, then stretching and stretched by a length x, then we can say that force will be equal to Ay by L into x. We can derive this from the Young's modulus of elasticity, y equal to force by area delta L by L. Here delta L is given as x, so we can write x here. So if we have to calculate force only, then force will be equal to y into x and A is multiplied here, and only these things will be in the denominator, so we can rearrange that Ay by L into x. Right, so I have written that only. So this implies that if x is coming towards the LHS, then this will be divided in the denominator. We can see that Ay by L. Right, this is called the force constant. Force constant means this is the value of force with respect to stretching will be constant. How much force we will applying, the stretching will be in the relation to the force. If force is doubled, then stretch will be also double. If force is 3 times, then stretching will also be of 3 times. So we can write the force constant K equal to F by X, which will be equal to Ay by L. Right, where y is the Young's modulus. Now we'll be moving forward to the elastic after effect. Right, what is elastic आफ्टर इफेक्ट? जैसे कि यहाँ पर आपको पता चल रहा होगा, लिखा है आफ्टर इफेक्ट. राइट, मतलब डिफॉर्मेशन होने के बाद, आफ्टर अप्लाइंग द force, what happens? The body engaged in a deformation. Then what happens? After some time, it recovers back. It is a slow process. If the slow process of recovering the original state after the removal of the deforming forces, that is called elastic after effect. Right? Recovering, slow process of recovering original state after the removal of the deforming forces. राइट. जब हम फोर्स डालते हैं देन व्हाट हैपेंस, देयर इज ए डिफॉर्मेशन प्रोड्यूस्ड इन द बॉडी, बट आफ्टर सम टाइम व्हेन वी विथड्रॉ द फोर्सेस व्हाट हैपेंस, द स्लो प्रोसेस और ग्रेजुअल प्रोसेस ऑफ रिकवरिंग स्टार्ट्स, एंड दैट प्रोसेस आफ्टर द withdrawal of or the removal of deforming forces, we say that elastic actor effect. The time delay due to the effect is known as elastic relaxation time. The time delay, जितना टाइम लेता है वो फिर से अपने ओरिजिनल शेप में आने के लिए, अगर नॉर्मल से आपका ज़्यादा टाइम लगा लिया तो उसे तो टाइम डिले इज कॉल्ड एज इलास्टिक रिलैक्सेशन टाइम. Its value is large for glass. Right, relaxation, elastic relaxation time that is large for glass and very small for gold, silver, phosphor, etc. and bronze also. And it is minimum. This is large for glass, small for gold, silver, phosphorus, bronze, and minimum for quartz. Minimum for quartz. Now we will discuss about elastic fatigue. जैसे मसल फैटिग होता है, तो इलास्टिक फैटिग का मतलब क्या है? This is the property of an elastic body due to which the body becomes weak or less elastic after repeated application of alternate deforming forces. Right? You can see I am applying alternate deforming forces. Right? One force is towards this and outward. This is inward, outward. This is called alternate reforming forces. Right, sorry, deforming forces. If we apply constantly these alternate deforming forces, then what happens? This body become less elastic, and after all, finally it breaks. Right. So this is called elastic fatigue. Right. For the same reason, railway bridges are declared unfit after their use for the prolonged period. Right. So what do you mean by elastic fatigue? The property of elastic body for which the body becomes weak. The body becomes weak after repeated application of alternate deforming forces. Right, so this is the reason for which railway bridges are declared unfit after their uses for a long period. Right, now we will discuss about the elastic hysteresis. These are the important terms you have to remember: elastic fatigue, elastic after effect, elastic hysteresis. Right, as a natural consequence, elastic hysteresis क्या है? As a natural consequence of the elastic after effect, the strain in the body tends to lag behind the stress applied to it, so that during a rapidly changing stress, what happens? The strain is greater for the same value of stress. इसे समझाने के लिए हम एक ग्राफ ड्रॉ करते हैं. This is strain, this is stress. Right, this is the graph of rubber. Right, you can see O, A, B. When forces is applied on the rubber or the rubber is stressed, the strain follows this path O, A, B. Right, but what happens when the stretching force is removed or the stretching force is withdrawn? What happens? The rubber come back to its original path, but it doesn't come back through the same path from where it has gone. ठीक है, ये यहाँ से ऐसे होकर डिफॉर्म हुआ था, लेकिन जब वो रिफॉर्म हुआ वो O A B कर्व को फॉलो नहीं किया. it is reversible but not obeying the not coming again to the original shape by following the same path, right. यहाँ पर बोलेंगे इसको इलास्टिक हिस्टेरेसिस. यहाँ पर देख सकते हो, फॉर ए सेम वैल्यू ऑफ स्ट्रेस वी फाइंड लार्ज अमाउंट ऑफ स्ट्रेन हियर. ठीक है, जब ये ऐसे डिफॉर्म हो रहा था फॉर द स्ट्रेस हियर, द स्ट्रेन वाज लो, बट फॉर when it came back to its original shape following another path, what happens? For the same stress we are getting the more strain. So stress तो जल्दी रिलीज हो जाता है, लेकिन strain क्या होता है? स्ट्रेस के पीछे रह जाता है. होना क्या चाहिए था? स्ट्रेस जितना था स्ट्रेन भी यहाँ पर होना चाहिए था, स्ट्रेन रिलीज होना चाहिए था. जब जब स्ट्रेस रिलीज होता है स्ट्रेन यहाँ पर रिलीज होना चाहिए था, लेकिन क्या होता है? स्ट्रेस तो जल्दी रिलीज कर जाता है लेकिन स्ट्रेन लैग बिहाइंड, राइट. तो यहाँ पर क्या हो जाता है? ये जो रबर है, आफ्टर द स्ट्रेचिंग इट अब्जॉर्ब्स द एनर्जी, राइट. सो व्हेन एवर वी पुल ए रबर एंड देन वी रिमूव द फोर्सेस, व्हाट हैपेंस? द रबर गेट हीटेड, राइट, ड्यू टू the energy absorbed by this process, right. The energy is absorbed by the rubber in this process, and we can say that the in returning to its original shape, work done by the deforming forces is less, right. So we can say that the material having low elastic hysteresis have low elastic relaxation time, right. Only we can see that when the deforming force is removed, although finally acquires natural length, the figure clearly indicates that the work done by the material in returning to its original shape is less than the work done by the deforming forces. Work done by coming from B to O is less than the work done coming from O to B, right. So we can say that energy is absorbed in this case and rubber get heated after stretching, right. So let me give you an example. Here two cases I have been provided for rubber A and rubber B. For the rubber A, hysteresis curve is like this, and rubber B, hysteresis curve is like this. So first question is, which of the two rubber material would you choose for a car tire, right. The answer will be A, because in case of a car tire, here the area is less. You can see the area of this hysteresis curve is less. Area less means the energy absorbed is less. So if the energy absorbed will be less, then what happens? It will be less heated, right, due to the friction. क्योंकि कार के जो पहिए होते हैं that will be continuous friction with the road. तो रोड में जो फ्रिक्शन के वजह से जो हीट आता है that would be less absorbed by this material of the rubber. So we can say that this rubber is used. So we use synthesized rubber in case of tire to absorb less energy, so that the tires will be less heated. But what happens in case of shock absorbers for heavy machines, right. अगर आप एक ऐसा heavy machine फ्लोर पे बिठाए हुए हो, अगर मशीन चला तो ड्यू टू द वाइब्रेशन योर फ्लोर कैन बी डिफॉर्म्ड, राइट. तो हम क्या करते हैं, फ्लोर के ऊपर पहले एक रबर रखते हैं, फिर उसके ऊपर हेवी मशीन को प्लेस करते हैं. देन व्हाट हैपेंस? द मशीन cannot affect the floor anymore. The rubber will be like a shock absorber, right. So which type of material from both of these we use shock absorber? The answer will be B, right. The rubber material of B is used as the shock absorber because we can see that the hysteresis curve has more area here. More area means it will absorb more energy, and we have required a rubber material which will absorb more energy here, because the vibrational energy should be absorbed, right? So यहाँ पर जो एरिया ज़्यादा है उसका एनर्जी absorption ज़्यादा हो रहा है. That's why we use volcanic rubber in case of heavy machinery as the shock absorber, right? But in case of car tire, we use synthesized rubber to avoid the absorption of heat due to the friction, right? So that's all for the today's class. I hope you understood well the concepts. If you have any doubt, then you can ask me. Thank you for watching the video. Have a nice day, students.